Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the Buttonless Podcast, coming at you live from Beating Dreams in Dallas, Texas, featuring Allison
And
that's
Heather,
me,
with additional flavor added by our very own Carol. During this broadcast, we will delve into the stories of famous gemstones, past and present, looking to amuse, delight, and possibly disturb you.
We record live weekly, and we invite you to join in. Bi-weekly, not weekly. We record live bi-weekly, and we invite you to join in the online conversation every other Wednesday at about 7:45 p.m. Central Time on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube.
Just a warning, sometimes we get a little spicy.
Please be aware that the following broadcast may contain champagne and also mature content.
Thank you for supporting small businesses.
And we hope you enjoy our show. So, welcome back, everybody. Welcome.
Nothing?
Okay. Welcome to Indignant Indigo. This is going to be episode 1 of our podcasts about the Hope Diamond. Now, the Hope Diamond... first of all, I was looking for my Hope Diamond book, and it very almost turned into Shark Week on the Beating Dreams stream, but it didn't. But this book, which I would like to reference as pretty much the only source material for this evening's podcast because it is extremely well written. This is Blue Mystery, the story of the Hope Diamond, written by Suzanne Steinem Patch, copyright 1972. Yes, that was, in fact, before I was born.
Me too!
I have had this book for as long as I can remember. I honestly don't remember when my mother got this book for me. But, I mean, it's so old that it is literally, it's a folio at this point and not a book because the pages are no longer bound to the spine. But I love this book because, well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, this book is, you can blame Suzanne Patch. This book is one of the things that made me love gems. This book is one of the reasons why I am inflicting myself upon you all on the internet in a podcast format every other week. So again, and actually this book is so old that I do not know if Suzanne Patch is still with us. I'm assuming if she is retired, but she does invite you in the book to write to her care of the Smithsonian with a zip code and everything. So if you want to complain to Suzanne Patch that you're stuck with me, you know, but seriously, this book is one of the 2 books that made me a rock hound. I was looking for the other one. And I don't know where it is in my house or if I still have it. So once again, there's always Peter Benchley.
It's true.
But yeah, this...
How dare she?
But this is a really great book, and one of the reasons that this is my primary reference, our primary reference for this podcast, is because she's done an extraordinary job of researching the Hope Diamond, of researching and giving historical context to it. So when she has done so much great work, why mess with it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
So, Heather, let's talk about the facts of the Hope Diamond.
Well, Allison, I'm glad you asked. The Hope Diamond is...
Because it wasn't in the script or anything.
It wasn't, no. And by script...
I know, right? It's script. Today, script is a very, very loose interpretation of what we have.
I like how she throws in the today, as though that is different.
Oh, come on! Sometimes it's typed on a computer.
Sometimes it's typed on a computer, but it's still just blurbs.
It's an extemporaneous... It's a podcast.
It's part of our charm.
It's extemporaneous.
Yes.
Anyway. Usually it's more legible.
The Hope Diamond is a natural blue diamond. The color is consistent throughout and is similar in color to a fine sapphire. It currently resides in the Smithsonian after being donated by Harry Winston in 1958. It is flawless, and it is 45.52 carats in weight. So let's talk about blue diamonds. So I have mentioned before on occasion, and I will do so again, that one of the primary reasons certain stones, certain minerals come in different colors is because their crystalline structure allows for trace elements to attach within the crystalline structure.
So science.
So science, exactly.
Yes.
So
You're good at science.
Diamonds are no exception. They're absolutely
Science diamonds.
Science diamonds. These are such sciencey diamonds, though. Let's talk about this. So
no, this one's going to be really good.
Yeah, it really is. So we talked a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, because that's our
just. It's like 40 days and 40 nights for the Beating Dreams stream is 3 weeks.
Yes, 3 weeks. We've been streaming for 3 weeks since 2020. So
yeah. Which is why my content creation brain is a little bit, overwhelmed or underwhelmed or just exhausted.
So if any of you out there listening have any things that you want us to talk about, please let us know, because we want to know. We had a chatty stream earlier, and we have had requests for haunted gemstones or haunted pieces of jewelry. So if you have any of those
piling
around
on the spook in the podcast. So
we need to save at least one or two for Halloween.
Yes, it's true.
But anyway, back to the Hope Diamond. So we talked about the Cullinan diamond and a specific type of diamonds that the Cullinan belongs to, and indeed which were named after the Cullinan. So that particular type of diamond was the 2A diamond, and the acronym is Clipper, which in the C in Clipper stands for Cullinan. So it's Cullinan-like.
Yeah.
So the Hope Diamond is a flagship example of the 2B type of diamond. And 2A and 2B have a lot in common in that they were both formed extremely deeply in the mantle of the earth. So they're not quite to the core, but they're typically formed in that transition zone, which is between 410 to 660 kilometers below the surface of the earth. Most diamonds form more like 150 to 200 kilometers deep, so this is 2 to 3 times as deep as that, which is pretty cool.
Which, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. It might be interesting as a future podcast, because high temperature, high pressure treated diamonds are hugely popular and available in the industry. And it might be interesting to examine what conditions those are actually recreating. If they're recreating the conditions of clipper diamonds or more shallowly formed diamonds.
True.
So, note to self, please continue.
Excellent.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. So, the trace element that makes diamonds blue is...
By the way, we're nerdy, in case you didn't know that.
I'm sorry, if you didn't know that we were nerdy, you must
have
be
not
new.
been paying
Welcome.
attention. Yeah. If you don't know we're nudie, nudie? No.
Nudie?
No. That's not this podcast.
Tips, please.
Anyway, I'm going to let Heather... Yeah, I'm obviously not doing any good, so let's just go.
Back to my nudiness. Wait.
I'm sorry, I broke it. I broke everything. I broke Heather. Please continue.
So boron is the trace element that makes diamonds blue. And boron is really cool because on the Earth, it almost always occurs in an oceanic setting. And that goes part way to explaining why it might get into a 2B style of diamond, because one of the things that happens in plate tectonics is you have the edge of one plate subducting under the edge of another plate. So you've got potentially part of the ocean floor going underneath another ocean floor, or, the edge of a continent. It doesn't have to be true ocean floor.
You remember nerdy, right? Just checking.
Yes, from 2 minutes ago. I hope you do. So we went under
I'm sorry, but now we're in plate tectonics. So
now we are in plate tectonics.
Yeah.
So the melted ocean, it essentially goes under and melts and becomes part of the mantle. That's not quite how they refer to it, but like putting a piece of chocolate into already melted chocolate, it will join the rest of the chocolate and become part of the chocolate deliciousness.
It will be subsumed into the greater mantle of chocolate.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I do enjoy a good mantle of chocolate.
Or subducted? Is it subducted or subsumed?
Well, subducted is what happens to the plate. Subsumed
is what happens to the minerals?
Well, subsumed is just a word that you used that essentially means it all got mushed together into one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it is not a technical term that we are using
Heather's
tonight.
the nerdier one, in case you were wondering.
I'm nerdy about different things.
That's fair.
So we've got boron that came into this particular equation through being subducted and then melted into the mantle. And because we are so far down in the mantle when we're forming these 2B type diamonds, then boron is absolutely available to them for a trace element. Now, in my research, I found
when I said, "Hey Heather, why are blue diamonds blue?"
Yes,
and by the way, this is why everyone should have a Heather, because I said, "Hey Heather, let's figure out why blue diamonds are blue," and now we have plate tectonics and boron and
boron gets to the Earth pretty much exclusively from cosmic ray spallation and supernovae. So boron comes from space is what I'm saying.
Minerals. Yes. See, this is what you ask Heather, why are diamonds blue? And you get space minerals.
And you get space minerals.
I mean, there's nothing bad about this.
No, this is only winning. So you've probably all heard of a supernova. In case you don't know what a supernova actually is, it is when a massive star reaches the zenith of its lifespan and essentially explodes and turns supernova. And so that emits a lot of cosmic rays. Cosmic rays are made up of subatomic particles. They're just like little light soup made of nucleic pieces.
Okay, I'm sorry, light soup definitely needs to be on the button list. Now please continue.
So light soup made of tiny, tiny little bits of life. And so cosmic ray spallation happens when these cosmic rays, from whatever source, often supernovae but not always, collide with mass, typically. Or sometimes if they collide with each other, but what we're talking about on Earth is when they collide with mass. So
okay,
it's usually...
So can you actually clarify spallation? Because that's not a word that I'm familiar with.
S-P-A-L-L-A-T.
Oh, spalling. That's what...
Yes.
Okay, no, that's what the freaking... that's what the firing pan does in the kiln.
It's balls?
It's balls. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, I did know that word. I just didn't know I knew it. Thank you.
There you go.
Sorry to keep interrupting.
So yes, so this is all natural. I mean, this isn't people causing cosmic rays. There are no death rays. I mean, they might be death rays, but
Freaking laser beams.
you're actually more likely to die from ultraviolet rays and skin cancer. But anyway,
Then cosmic spalling? Got it.
yes. So when you've got the collision with either matter or another cosmic ray of some kind, then it makes a little mini explosion of nucleic matter. And so some of the nucleic matter naturally forms elements that are really common in the very beginning of the periodic table. Boron being very far up there. And boron forms both directly and it forms indirectly when you have beryllium breakdown and become boron. Because beryllium is a little less stable in certain certain states than boron is.
Wow,
So-
we are just not getting any less nerdy
We
at this
really
point.
are.
We are. If there's a nerd spectrum for podcasts, we are going there.
I am on the visible spectrum of nerd. I am the visible spectrum of nerd, pretty sure.
Yeah, well,
Anyway, so boron is formed from cosmic rays just kind of smashing into the earth and making atoms. And that's where we get new atomic pieces. It's essentially like the Big Bang, just little tiny version of it. It's pretty
easy mini
pretty
bangs.
fascinating. Yeah, it's a small bang.
Small bang. V small.
Small.
V tiny bang.
SMOL, small bang.
Yes.
So the boron gets into the structure of the diamond. It's the itty bitty bang. It's the itty bitty bang bang. Like
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I don't know that I can finish this podcast without laughing
about
the itty bitty bang bang. Yeah. Yeah. Continue.
So yeah, boron is not the only element. We'll talk about other ones at another time when we're talking about other colors of diamonds. But diamond, as I mentioned, is one of those particular types of minerals that has a crystalline structure that allows itself to trap atoms of trace elements, and then you get different colors naturally occurring of diamonds. So we definitely lost Allison.
I get the salacious stuff next.
Yes,
so
it's true.
I'm actually just sitting here being immature during the sciencey bits.
So the finest gem quality diamonds, which we did talk about a little bit during the Cullinan podcast, they come from the farthest down. So both 2A and 2B are very commonly found 3 to 4 times as deep in the earth as, or formed that deeply. And they have a tendency to be more flawless than your other options. They are beautiful. They're also the most useful, of course, for scientific applications. And I ran into the exact same researchers from my Cullinan 2A Clipper research. Evan Smith from the GIA led a team of researchers, and they split up and did different papers about the same research that they all did. And this was not a paper written by Evan Smith, but he was the one who was lamenting that
all of these super valuable sciencey diamonds, unfortunately, were worth bajillions of dollars and made into jewelry. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Because scientists sometimes hyper-focused on science.
I mean, if we want to learn about the Earth, these are actually the best
I know,
stones.
but how dare they be so sparkly?
I mean,
if dangerous, why cute? Like,
like bears!
Like the principle applies.
So, back to the diamond itself. The diamond
at hand.
Okay, we'll just use semaphore. Which will be really useful in a podcast.
Wait, are we still on Corvus?
We are now back? Okay.
Okay.
But we weren't for a second?
I didn't touch anything, I didn't touch anything, I swear.
There was a gravitational incident, okay?
The keyboard fell down, but I no touchy the mic.
But we're okay now.
We did. Okay.
Good, okay.
Well, we good now.
Sorry about the disappearing. We were so overcome by the awesomeness of the diamond research that I did that
I think
Allison just threw things to the ground.
I think that the weight of the nerdiness was just too much for the internet.
The keyboard just fell down under the weight of my nerdiness.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't because I had it precariously balanced
pants
on.
Because of all my nerdiness.
Wait, how did we get to bigger pants?
I don't know. So
the
diamond itself, the beautiful blue diamond,
wait
the Hope diamond.
I hear you changing the subject.
No, it's the same subject.
Yeah, okay, but there were pants in there. Also, by the way, I'm looking at myself on the screen, and the stripes on this shirt definitely do not match at the shoulders, because...
No, they don't. It's cheap. Yes.
But anyway.
So anyway, nothing is growing in my pants! Except my butt.
That's a whole...
So...
different conversation Heather and I had the other day.
Yes.
So anyway...
the
Hope Diamond.
The Hope Diamond. So the Hope Diamond is set in a platinum setting, and it's surrounded by 16 diamonds in this setting. And I believe Allison has a picture of it on the cover of her book. Is that right?
I do. Yep.
So pretty.
Not with I'm sure that there's a picture of the necklace as well.
And then it's suspended from a necklace of 46 diamonds, which has a hook at the bottom added by Evelyn Walsh McLean.
Because...
we'll hear about her later.
Oh,
because she wanted to suspend her Star of the East 94 carat white diamond.
So this is...
as one does.
Yeah, so so it's basically a chain of lovely oval cut diamonds. That's,
It's a 46 diamond
No.
necklace.
Well, necklace, but technically it's if you would, let's see, 46 plus 16 plus 1 is how many? Heather.
A lot.
No.
63.
Okay, so it's actually a 63 diamond necklace. So, yeah, so we're going to talk about, I get to talk about Evelyn Walsh McLean because she's a, but,
so after it came to be housed in the Smithsonian, we'll get to when it became housed in the Smithsonian tonight, and then we'll do more stuff next week.
next time.
So after it came to be housed in the Smithsonian, it was blamed for anything and everything from economic recession to the atomic bomb.
Because, of course, theoretically, this diamond was cursed. Does anybody want to guess why this diamond was cursed? Anyone?
Not the bomb.
So,
I have thoughts, but I have spoilers sitting in front of me. So.
Yes. Well, so this is this one of the reasons, and I realize that everyone wants spoop, so I'm gonna ratchet up the spoop for the next couple of podcasts. But one of the things that I really like about this book by Suzanne Patch is that it really examines the history and facts surrounding the diamond more than the legend, because the legend, just like a number of the other diamonds and other stones that we have had on this podcast, is the legend is the Hope Diamond is cursed. Everyone who touches it, bad things happen to them. But really, do bad things happen to them because the diamond is cursed, or just because they're freaking crazy? Because I present to you,
there's a lot of overlap.
Evelyn Walsh McLean. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, okay, so of course, legend says, the Hope Diamond legend says that it was stolen from the eye of an Indian idol somewhere in India, in the Indianness of the subcontinent, because there's, like, this one's not even as specific as some of the other ones that are like, it was taken from, the eye of an idol.
The eye of Brahms.
Yeah. Okay, that was autocorrect.
Yes.
But anyway, like, it's just like, this seems to be the stock, this is the Adobe stock image of cursed famous diamonds. But what why
is it it's always the eye? It's never like the belly button or
because they got 3 eyes. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm just gonna say again, as just some life advice, if you are in some kind of sanctuary in any religion, and there is a statue, and the statue is adorned with jewels, don't go prying out the jewels and taking them with you.
Conversely, if someone asks you if you are a god,
You say yes.
But that was...
Because, thank you,
Non-sequitur.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Or Bill Murray, or whoever said that line. I might have just totally, completely destroyed my 80s street cred.
But I think you did. But at least they were both there.
I don't know. R.I.P. Harold Ramis. That's all I got to say. So, what I do find interesting about the Hope Diamond is it is a very, very unique stone. The color is extremely rare in a diamond. Like, if it was a sapphire, like, no one would give a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man about it. But it's a sapphire blue diamond, and it somehow just pops into history.
I like the sound of it. That is the sound of a diamond popping into history.
It is,
by
isn't
the
it,
way.
though?
Officially, yes.
Yeah. So the earliest record of the actual stone that is the Hope Diamond as it exists today was in 1813. It was in a book. Am I still in my... I didn't take your spot, did I? I'm still...
Nope, you're still...
Okay, cool.
You get that
Awesome.
whole page.
Yay!
And the beginning of the next one.
I mean, it's a whole page with my 6 a.m. handwriting, so it's really not that much. But the earliest record of the actual stone that can be identified as the Hope is in 1813 in a book by John Mowe, M-A-W-E. No idea how to pronounce that. There's going to be another weird name later that Heather's going to have to pronounce. But the book was called Peculiar Diamonds. So the Hope is a very unique shape. It has one weird side. It has one flattened side. Actually, one of the things that the author of my favorite book says is she was able to, because the Hope was actually removed from its setting at the Smithsonian and weighed shortly before this book was published in 1972. So she was actually able to do the same thing that this author had done in 1813. She put the diamond on its face and she traced around it with a pencil. And she was extreme. You need to read this book, Heather.
I
it's
do.
Really fun.
That folio, yes.
It used to be a book years ago.
Yes.
But she was completely jazzed, and that's all that's all I can say. She was completely jazzed by the fact that her tracing looked the same as the tracing in this book from 1813. So there is speculation that the Hope was cut down from a diamond called the French Blue, which is a big-ass blue diamond that was part of the French crown jewels that was stolen in 1792. But then you go back and, to the history of the French Blue, and it's all very, very muddy. So the Hope just kind of, springs on the scene. There's a song from Damn Yankees in my head, but I can't. I'm on the scene as fresh as Listerine. That's what it is. In 1813.
Which rhymes?
Well, because it's a song from a musical.
1813 is part of it?
No.
Well, see,
1813 does actually rhyme with
Yeah.
Listerine. You're not wrong. So the book was called Peculiar Diamonds. And so that book referenced a diamond which is fairly certainly the Hope, based on the drawings and the shape. Seems identical to the Hope, and was described as being in the possession of Mr. Ellison, an eminent diamond dealer.
Mm.
Now, there were some rumors of Ellison selling the diamond to George. Can't remember which George. Probably the crazy one, since that's about the time for that. But that didn't actually happen. There is a verifiable record of Ellison selling the diamond to Henry Philip Hope in 1830. And research is fairly certain that this is accurate. So the hope, whatever the heck happened to it, or where it came from, whether it came from the eye of an idol, or who the heck knows, Shoeless Joe from Hannibal, whatever. Again, nerdy in different ways, but still, it is verifiable and accurate that Henry Philip Hope did purchase the diamond in 1830 from Mr. Ellison. Again, since the Hope has one flattened side, all of the drawings and renderings of said diamond are again fairly certain to be accurate, because it's a little weird. Like, if you're going to draw a fake diamond, you're going to draw it pretty asymmetrical. And in the 1812, the other thing, so in 1812 and 1813, whenever that book was published, since the author was able to trace around the diamond, it's fairly certain that it was unset at the time. So, there's nothing. No one knows how or where or when Daniel Ellison acquired the Hope. Like, he just, hey, here's a 45 carat sapphire blue,
flawless,
extremely rare, flawless. Like, hi, here it is. I just found it in the yard. Like,
I find those in my yard. You just don't know about them.
Okay, then why are we both still working here?
Because I don't have a yard.
Oh God. So anyway, this is one of the really intriguing things I think about the Hope, is that the history of the Hope diamond, essentially, as it is currently known, really begins in, depending on which source you are looking at, either in 1813, when it was featured in that book, or in 1830 when it was purchased by Henry Philip Hope. So, Heather,
so
let's talk about the Hopes.
The Hopes as a family, not a diamond.
Yeah.
So Henry Philip was a descendant of the Amsterdam Hopes, and their firm Hope and Company were financiers to royalty and governments throughout the empire. So I assume that's Europe.
Europe, yeah. No, there's a lot of names. I just didn't write them all down.
They helped to finance the Louisiana Purchase, which certainly enlarged America quite a bit, and gave us etouffee.
Don't ask questions, just buy it.
And all kinds
of
things.
Beignets. I can't even eat beignets, but...
Yeah. But by 1813, the last active partner of Hope and Company had died, and the heirs were like, no, it's not really our thing. So they sold out to Baring of London.
Which I did not write down, but Baring of London was actually the other financier for the Louisiana Purchase.
Ah, excellent. And Henry Philip retired to the quiet and shy and retiring life of collecting art, diamonds, and other precious stones.
I mean...
it is kind of quiet.
I mean, diamonds don't talk very much. Neither do stones in general.
Depends on how cursed they are, probably. The simple life. I would like that simple life. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, a catalog published in 1839 showed drawings and descriptions of Hope's precious jewels, which is not a euphemism.
Wow, I didn't even catch that one. Goodness.
He actually had jewels.
Okay, I'm sorry. You lost me again, Heather. You did it again.
I think you did this to yourself.
Why? Just because I wrote it?
So,
I didn't have anything about Hope's, stones in there.
It just says precious jewels. All I said was it wasn't a euphemism. I didn't even imply anything. I just stated it's not a euphemism.
Yes.
For anything at all.
Uh-huh. By I'm just gonna say this statement itself was an implication. But anyway, please continue, Heather, talking about Hope's stones.
So he had more than just the 2. He had 41.
Really? 41? That's a lot of stones. That's a lot of stones.
He had 41 cut fancy diamonds, plus other colored diamonds in uncut rough. It's not helping. Allison is still snorting.
But he also had other precious jewels that were not
like the pearl, which was about 1,800 grains, which is huge. Greenish bronze, which sounds gorgeous. About 2 inches long, and it was topped with a red enameled jeweled crown.
Yes, and I do have hold on. Here's a photo.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's might be a future cast.
Awesome.
The Hope Pearl.
More about Hope's precious jewels later.
Oh God, you cannot take us anywhere.
You really can't.
The funny thing is, we didn't even go anywhere.
No, we're sitting right here.
We're sitting right here. You can't take us anywhere.
But join us. Thank you for being here.
So just an interesting non sequitur before I turn it back over to Heather. So Henry Philip Hope's elder brother was an art collector and a novelist. His best known work was a romance. Wait for it. What? I would like to have a momentary contest as to what do you think is the most tortured and laborious title for a romance novel that could ever exist.
Think of things.
I bet I'm gonna win.
Allison's gonna win.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
But I want to know. I want to know what you all think. Like, seriously, just give me some, and I will read them off. Give me some ideas about what is just the. I'm not talking about like the worst romance. Like, I'm not talking about like, you know. Oh, Suey, my darling sheep, you have left me. No, I'm not talking about that type of bad. I'm talking about like.
I'm sorry, back up. What?
Come on, you have to have heard that version of Scotland the Brave.
Yes. Did not expect it to pop up tonight.
Okay, so but just the okay, I'm gonna put you all out of your misery, and I'm especially gonna put Heather out of her misery because she's waiting for me to continue talking. Anastasius, or Memoirs of a Greek, written at the close of the 18th century.
So that was part of the title, correct?
That was that is the entirety of the title.
That's not a descriptor.
No, that's not a descriptor. That's part of the title.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Do we think Fabio was on the cover of that one?
I'm going with no.
Do we think... Yeah. So, and yet,
Byron...
Oh,
the Lord Byron...
Yep.
Reportedly wept bitterly upon reading the novel because he had not written it himself. And he had also not titled it himself, although I'm gonna go out there on record as saying that Byron probably would not have given it a much less tortured title.
No, no.
Because, yes, Byron was all about his keywords.
I mean, the only thing it's missing is a hashtag.
Yeah. Yeah. Byron,
so that's a whole...
He's a whole other type of podcast, actually.
That's true. Which, I mean, I am just like... I'm totally a British poetry nerd, so... If we can, like... Okay, so...
One that appeared with a short.
So here's my dream, is if we can find a stone that's like British poetry and spoop and stone all together... That would be like the penultimate or ultimate podcast episode.
Wouldn't
for
be
the
the penultimate.
list.
That would be the ultimate.
Yeah. But then what would we do after that?
Retire on our winnings.
Okay.
I don't know what our winnings would be, but... obviously there would be some.
Though I will say,
Probably because we'd have to do that one nude.
I am actually more of a Keats than a Byron
That's fair.
person. And I like Shelley too. But anyway.
Yes.
When do I start again?
Back to the modern era.
Yes.
Lord Francis Hope, who became a lord through a really, speaking of tortured and convoluted.
Okay, this was like a Simone Biles level of gymnastics legally. I didn't, like, Heather didn't read the thing, but it was there was a lot.
So he didn't expect to become a lord, is what we're saying. But now he is Lord Francis Hope.
Woohoo! And what did he do?
He married actress May Yohe, also known as Madcap May.
Because that's what you want to do when you're a lord.
Yes, yes.
Who
in
also?
1894. I mean, granted, he didn't grow up as nobility, so he didn't have all the expectations thrust upon his shoulders until later in life, when it was maybe already too late and he was already looking at ingenues.
But seriously, Madcap May.
Madcap May, so they got married in 1894, and Madcap May is gonna come up a lot.
Like, she's gonna come up and she's gonna have her own, at least, portion of the next episode, because she is like the days of our lives of 1894.
So when she became
like sands through the hourglass,
Lady Francis Hope, that was only the beginning of all the craziness soap opera level things. I don't know that anyone was possessed in this one.
No.
Or had an evil twin. But we'll see. That's for next week. Or next time, not next week.
But who shot JR?
Well, that is not a soap opera.
What?
I'm kidding. It's totally a soap opera. That is real literature, Allison.
I'm okay, Heather, but really? Okay. So, long story short. After all of Lady Francis Hope's
Madcapery?
colorful life, yes, Cartier acquired the diamond, and in 1918, he sold it to Evelyn Walsh McLean, who bought it, by the way, on an installment plan.
Did you know you could buy the Hope Diamond on an installment plan?
I bet you didn't, but guess what? Somebody did. So Evelyn was Evelyn was only mildly less crazy than Lady Francis Hope. I mean, if we're going to be real about this, she, in one famous story, Evelyn, okay, so Evelyn apparently would literally pawn the Hope Diamond on basically a weekly basis when she needed money, and then she'd go back and buy it back. But in one story, somebody was a pawnster, I don't even remember who, but someone was coming to take possession of the diamond in exchange for some cashola, and Evelyn was like, oh my goodness, what could I have done with that? Oh, I think that Mike has it. Mike was her Great Dane. She called her dog, who was wearing the Hope Diamond on its 46th diamond necklace on the neck of her Great Dane.
I mean, how else is it going to hang on the Great Dane? Like tape? No.
I guess? I don't know. But, like, seriously. So, yeah. So, Evelyn was different, interesting, yes,
fascinating.
Fascinating. And we are gonna, okay, so I'm just gonna like shoot real quick to the end, and then we're gonna go back. So this podcast is mainly focused on the facts of the Hope Diamond.
Yes.
We gonna get into the soap opera on the next podcast, because seriously, y'all, these people were freaking crazy. And so again, this takes us back to, were these stones actually cursed, or are the people who could afford to buy them just freaking batshit? Heather, what do you think?
Oh, the latter.
Yeah. I agree. So, Evelyn Walsh McLean died in 1947. Per her will and her wishes, she wanted all of her jewelry to be held in trust for her youngest grandchild, who at that time was 4 years old. However, Heather, was Evelyn responsible with her money?
Well, I offer you, audience, the evidence of her pawning the Hope Diamond
Multiple times.
many times. So I feel like, based on that evidence, that no, she was not the most fiscally responsible human.
Also, do we really think that Michael the Great Dane was the best custodian for the Hope Diamond for even a limited amount of time?
It sounds like he might have been better than Evelyn.
That is a totally valid point.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
So, Evelyn died in 47. In 1949, an injunction was granted by the court to have her jewelry sold to settle debts and claims against the estate. Her entire collection was sold to Mr. Harry Winston for approximately $1.25 million. I did not actually ask you to do that currency conversion.
No.
$1.25 million in 1974.
Even for the Hope Diamond alone, at that point, $1.25 million for
it's
the
weird.
collection.
Yeah, no,
that is insanity.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, actually,
So we should put that info in next.
Yeah, next book, because honestly, and I think that okay, so I'm gonna non sequitur her, and then I'm gonna let you take over with Harry Winston and the Smithsonian. But it's weird because the stories of curses and, you know, hauntings and all of that of gemstones seem to be like a double-edged sword, because on one side it makes them, you know, people want the unusual, people want the mystical, people want, you know, and will pay more for it. But on the other side, it's like, who's gonna buy a freaking cursed diamond for $1 million? Like, fuck that. I'm gonna go buy a, you know, villa in France and go float in my pool and maybe not have to worry about dying in ruin for $1 million. Like, I find the dichotomy of the mythology of cursed gemstones to be very interesting.
Indeed.
So
Harry Winston had a lot of ideas about jewelry and how it should be public, and you'll still see today things from that collection.
This was something that Harry, like, it's
really important.
Was really important.
So you'll see jewelry on the red carpet and things like that have been lent from the collection of Harry
and
Winston.
Heather actually had a really good metaphor for yes. Okay, she'll get to that.
He, during his lifetime, was absolutely lending out the diamond for public appearances and so forth. And he really wanted the U.S. to have a national gem collection, which is how he helped start the Smithsonian gem collection. And it's my phrasing of it was, it's essentially like the American crown jewels, but it's owned by the country rather than the head of state.
The family, yeah.
Which is very emblematic of America, of course. I mean, we are not blameless in our collection of things, except for this one. If it didn't come from the eye of an idol... Who the
heck knows where it came from? I have no idea. Like,
this one has less he dead in it, a lot less.
There was no he dead in this particular podcast.
I mean, people did die, but not because of it.
But only because of old age.
But he was really invested in this whole idea of having a national gem collection. So he donated the Hope Diamond as a stimulus to induce others to donate similar gems to the national collection.
Which worked.
Yeah, it did. And it wasn't the only thing he donated either. I mean, there are quite a few pieces in the Smithsonian from Harry
Like
Winston.
Marjorie Merriweather Post
Yes.
donated
Absolutely.
a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Like, it was like, oh, Harry did it. Well,
then I can too, yeah.
I do wonder what the tax write-off is for donating.
I imagine it's fairly substantial.
Yeah.
I mean, I did grow up in Asheville with the Biltmore Estate, and one of the things that they always told you at the Biltmore Estate was, well, everything you used to be able to see from this location belonged to the Vanderbilts. Like, you could stand on the roof of the Biltmore Estate and everything belonged to the Vanderbilts. 800,000 acres of the Pisgah National Forest was donated to the U.S. by George Vanderbilt. So, I mean, it was definitely a thing back in the early days of income taxes. And I feel like it should be more of a thing. Yes, everything the light touches is our kingdom. So this concludes the facts. And next time
we spill the tea.
Yes.
All the tea.
Yes.
We are going to talk about
lore curses.
Yes, lore curses. We are going to talk about Madcap May. We are going to talk about Evelyn Walsh McLean and all of her indiscretions. Like, so next time is the
and her famous dog.
Oh my god.
Did get to wear the Hope Diamond.
Hope Diamond. Yeah. So next podcast is going to be Hope Diamond episode 2. There may be an episode 3 because
there's a lot.
Kid you not. These people were freaking nuts.
So there might be an episode just on May and then one on Evelyn?
There might. And, it's...
sometimes we don't know till we start writing things down. And then suddenly you're
and
like, I'm 30
that
pages
happens
in.
At 6 a.m. on the day of the actual cast.
Also.
But I kid you not. Okay, so this is my book/folio. And what we've covered thus far is only, like, this much. There's still this much of the book left. And a lot of that
and again, that book is the facts. It's not the lore.
Yeah, a lot of that is tea. But it's factual tea. Like, again, these people were nuts. Like, being rich.
Nuttier than his precious jewels.
Oh my god. Okay, and on that note, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of The Button List with Allison
and Heather. You can catch The Button List bi-weekly on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube.
You can watch our complimentary live tutorials every Wednesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and twitch.tv/beatingdream. Good night, everyone. Oh, thanks all. Bye. No, wait, mouse. Where's my mouse?